All right, everybody, welcome to the long-awaited Devikins Combat AMA. It has been a while since we've seen all of you. We have a lot of new users. We have a lot of new people jumping in. All right, the game is out. Well, oh, I accidentally have my audio open on the stream, so I've sabotaged us for a very brief moment. So, going back, Phase 1 is out. The game is out in full. We have a lot of new players jumping in and trying out the game. This is really, really exciting. But we want to focus on upcoming features and what's coming to Devakins, which is combat, which is what you guys are excited for. You want to know about PvE, you want to know about PvP, weapons, everything to do with that. So me and Sergio today are going to be discussing that with all of you and going through the questions you've given to us on Discord, Telegram, Twitter, Facebook, all of our social media. So Sergio, to all of the people who haven't seen you before, who haven't been here yet, can you give a quick introduction?
Hello, everyone. Welcome, children, like says Mose. Yeah, so my name's Sergio. I'm the head of Devikins and the leader client or front end and programmer and the game designer and many other hats because we are like a small studio so far, but we will be growing. And yeah, I'm like a game developer, experienced game developer. I've been in the classical game development market for like about 10 years. My last job before starting Moon Labs was at EA, Electronic Arts, work on as a software engineer on FIFA Mobile. And yeah, and we have a lot other experienced game developers in our team as well. And now we are dipping on blockchain games.
Yep, it's the blockchain gang now.
Yes.
And so to everybody who doesn't know me, I'm the one that you see spamming you guys on Discord. I am Liz. I'm the communications lead over here at Moonlab Studios. I am the one who makes sure that everything that you say gets to the dev team and everything the dev team says gets to you, which is why we are here talking combat, right? So
Yeah.
we are going to be getting into the questions. We've got some fun ones. We've got some ones that we can and can't answer quite yet because, again, combat is in development and this is a much more intensive process than designing around the Tamagotchi system and the Void Adventures. So we want to clarify that all the questions that we answer today, some of the things that we still talk about are up in the air and things that we're changing and may change throughout development. So we want to make sure that that is clear to you guys and that you understand that this is still a work in progress and we are moving towards this final product and this final iteration of combat, and we will continue to do so for the coming months. So a lot of our questions came from Discord, which is our most active user base in terms of the social systems. So we're going to just kick it right off with a question from Justine GD, who asks us, are you planning on having animations or actions when a Devakin completes a Void adventure? Because as of right now, you click a button, you
Yeah.
pop it through, you get your
Yeah.
rewards.
It's a really passive one. Yeah, we are not planning that. We are focused on right now in combat. So combat's gonna be our animation heavy systems in action. Maybe void event's gonna get in this use after combat because you can use the combat as a way of giving away items and things. Yeah, my void adventures might get irrelevant for the phase 2, but it was just like a cool mini game we could give adult Devkins utility while the combat was being developed.
Yeah, it's a nice idea, but right now we are
Yeah,
focused on combat, like we
yeah.
said. The main question that everybody wants to ask, that everybody wants to know is, when's phase 2 coming out? When's it going to begin? When are we finally going to be able to punch another Devakin in the mouth?
Cool. Yes. So I really like the beta period we had. We learned a lot. We received a lot of feedback. I think that really improved the Devkins release. So I believe we can have like an open beta by end of August or September, and I would like to have like a 2 months of beta people testing the game and then really to actual release the game. We've been discussing for this open beta to not screw your Devkins Phase 1 progress, we're probably going to release under another Devkins Phase 2 whatever app that you could have both keep your main account playing the Tamagotchi and Divided Adventures, and have your beta testing like we had for Phase 1, where everything is it's going to be just virtual. It's not going to be real NFT, but you can test combat, give feedback, learn how to play the game, and once again, the progress we would not carry over to your game, but you would have like a really good experience how combat would be, and your feedback would be welcome. So I believe by August, September, you're going to be able to experience combat, and the Phase 2 release probably in November. I think it's a good time frame to release the
Yeah.
Phase 2.
So for those of you who took place in the beta preceding the Phase 1 launch, a sort of similar idea in mind there in terms of allowing virtualized gameplay to test out these new beta options without it conflicting with the game's economy and all those other overarching features that drive the game with it being on the blockchain.
Yeah.
Evaniel also asks an interesting question as we move forward, discussing weapon durability or weapons and their life cycle if such a system was implemented, functioning as an extra burning mechanism.
Yeah, you're gonna have that. So you're that's addressing the combat white paper you're writing. Actually, I'm really happy that all like majority of the questions they are addressed in the white paper. So I think we are synced with the community with their questions and the answers you are given with the white paper, combat white paper. And yes, the weapons it's supposed to have durability, and as more you use in combat, less durability they have, and so more penalties, and then we can restore your NFT weapons, and yada yada. Yes, so answer, you do have like weapon durability for your NFT weapons, and then you'll be able to restore that durability with in-game resource and probably DVK as well to have this this cycle of uh, always needing to have your resources.
Yeah. We did just get a very interesting question in chat that I think
Hmm.
would be nice to answer.
Yep.
Um, this applies more to Phase 1 and the systems therein, but a lot of users will get training items that they feel are not worth using in comparison to other more effective items that they have. Would it be possible to implement a trading or burning system for these items so that you can trade them in for the opportunity at a better trading item? Sorry, not
Yes,
trading, but training item.
yeah. So not trading, but we thought about like in a promoting system or something like that. And that's only design. We are not promising that for any upcoming update yet. But yeah, we noticed that there's some items that a lot of players don't like to use. I know perfume right now it's considered the worst item in the game, and I agree with that. But you always need to have a worst item, right?
Well, no matter
Uh,
what you do, you will always
yeah,
have a worst option. If one is
yes,
good, one will be bad.
yeah. For the training action, so we kind of try to give them utility. That's why each personality has like a preference for training items, and you get the feedback for the law disliked in game. And we have a map out. Every item has a preference to a dev kit, but I agree. Some items like the X-ray, it's a weak item, but it's a fast item over the vitamins. That it's a longer item that have more returns. But yeah, and about that question, probably like a system that you can grab a hand of common items and try to build a uncommon item, something like that, like promoting
Yeah,
or and cycling your training items.
it's an interesting thought, and there's applications there,
Yeah.
is what it boils down to. Um, Moving forward, Nivra asks the question, is there a decided method to how skills will be implemented? If so, how will it work and how will a Devakin acquire them? Right?
Oh,
So, do you get them through leveling up? Do you learn them in a way similar to, say, Pokemon with the little CDs? And
Yeah.
secondly, if
Mhm.
the skills or equipment are considered equipable, are they considered NFTs?
Yes and yes. So right now we have three categories for combat: that weapons. And weapons, you have your base attribute scaling for damage. So a weapon, if it's like a physical damage, it's going to scale with power. If it's more like a magical mental damage, it's going to be scale with sanity. And but the weapon, it works more like a catalyst. To your weapon, you trigger your skills, and your skills, it's a separate thing that you can equip as well. So we can have like a sword, and you can bring in one in a Devakin, you can bring one weapon and up to four skills. In these skills, you can equip and create your strategy as well, and they are NFTs as well.
Yeah.
And and one thing that we'd like to implement is that skill works like material in Final Fantasy VII. So you would get experience with your skill and progress in your skill with your skill, and unlock extra or uh, improving their returns, their damage, their effects, and whatever. So
Overall
yeah,
effectiveness of the
yeah,
spell.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so all to the old school JRPG fans, Final Fantasy fans, myself included, there's a lot of carryover from how those classical JRPGs designed their combat.
Mhm.
What does the goat say from Mjo-kun? He says meow. Mark Sheen asks this question. We've answered this question in the past, but since we
Yeah.
do have a lot of new users, we do want to answer it again to clarify to everybody else. Can a low overall affinity Devakin win a fight against a higher overall affinity Devakin? Yes and
And
no?
yeah, it's not so yeah, it's not like a straight question. Okay, low overall affinity, high overall affinity, but we have to take play. We have to ask yourself, what's the current level of the low overall affinity and the current level of a higher overall affinity? If you get an Eldritch level 1 against Devakin overall affinity 5, level 100, the level 100 is gonna crush the Eldritch. That's for sure. But when you say end game, low overall affinity, it's level 10, all cap, higher overall affinity, it's all cap. The higher affinity is going to have an upper hand, but outcome to a strategy as well. If you have like a really lay down strategy with your skills, like let's say you created like a more control skill set than just for damage, I think the if they are the same level, if you both are going to pure damage, probably the high overall affinity is gonna crush the low overall affinity easily. But if you go with like a more disruptive strategy, you could the low overall affinity could win over the higher affinity.
But
So
one of the main things with that, and that we've also discussed previously, that we want to, or at least I think is a good follow up to that question, is pauper leagues,
yep.
right? Or having a league for low overall affinity Devakin, or at least putting brackets in terms of defining here's 41 to 50, here is 35 to 40, so on and so
Hmm.
forth. Completely arbitrary guidelines. I just threw those off the top of my head, so
Yeah.
don't go taking that as an example of league definitions.
Yeah, yeah.
But pauper leagues are something that we still have intentions to design. And
Uh,
Sergio, if you want to move forward with that.
I'd say one that I'd like personally, I would like to see how the people would build teams. It if you put like a affinity cap. So let's say you have 100 points of affinity to bring a team of four NFTs. So you can bring four 25 overall overall affinity 25, or you can bring Eldritch and then 312 overall affinity Devakins. I think that that's an interesting team building tier like PvP stream you could have, like putting a cap of the overall affinity of your whole team, and then you can bring one strong to for through a week or four average NFTs and see what you got from there.
Yeah, having the opportunities to break it up
Yeah.
into zones of play almost, in which players have the option
Yeah.
to not just walk in with a smaller end team and then somebody else has spent more money on the game than them. This is an issue that you'll find in tons of titles,
Yeah.
right? We do want to balance around that and give players the option. Uh, so yes, that's answered in two questions that we were going to cover here in the AMA, but we'll move forward from those since we've kind of discussed it here. We'll move on to a question from Afi with them asking, with phase 2 approaching, what are the benefits of having max attributes versus a Devakin that hasn't maxed out their attributes? Also, will personalities affect battle mechanics?
Okay. So the max attribute Devkins versus those that are not, they have a head start in combat, low level. So when you bring, as I said on my low OA and high OA question, if you bring a well-trained level 1 common NFT against a non-trained Eldritch level 1, the common away they'll be stronger than the Eldritch. But at the end game, the affinity itself they are more important than the initial attributes. Your initial attribute is a head start for the early game there in combat, but as you level up your character, the affinities increases the attributes. So your max attribute Devakin, it's just a red start on your early game. And personality affect battle mechanics, yes, in the way that each personality they have a weapon profile. What does that mean? That let's say I'm angry, they can only equip a certain weapon types, and every personality they have their weapon profiles. So right now, if I'm not mistaken, we have 14 weapon types, and uh, I think the average of each personality they can equip like 7 weapon types, something like that.
Yeah.
So that's the way personality plays with the combat mechanics.
Yeah, so you have options and restrictions
Yeah.
therein based on your personalities. We have an extremely important, extremely dire question that absolutely must be answered, which is, what's your favorite color, Sergio?
Right off the bat, it's black. But if someone says, okay, black's not a color, it's a sense of color, then I would go with brown. Yeah. So that's
Showing
it.
everybody that he's a true metalhead. Once and for all, Sergio's here with the answer that yes, black is his favorite color.
Oh, and
If
shocks
if you
like
couldn't
no
tell
one.
he listens to Norwegian black metal, now you do.
Yeah.
Uh moving forward, El Mami from the Mythos Guild asks, will there be an energy system to limit match spamming?
Yes. Even for PvE and PvP, I think we have these energy systems, and then we can play around with like items to refill that and give more like med players like a faster recharge and stuff like that. And regarding the Pauper League, still, yes, we do have the plan of like all common Devikins League for PvP.
Yeah. And so we kind of answered this a little bit, but we haven't actually given it any like real in-depth talk.
Hmm.
Ivax from Vodianoi asks us, is PvP a 3v3 system, so on and so forth? Is there a defined number of characters that can fight in a battle? Like, how many do you want to bring?
Yeah, 4. Your team, combat team or battle team in Devakin, it's made of 4 Devikins and
Yep.
1 pet.
So now you guys know. And a pet.
Yeah, and a pet.
And to all of you, all the eager people who are asking, 4v4 and a
Yeah,
pet.
yeah.
Uh, Kanekit asks, will combat be an auto battling system or traditional JRPG?
Traditional JRPG. You pick your strategy, you pick your skills,
Turn
and
based,
yeah, it's turn based.
which is good, right? At least in
Yeah.
my honest opinion, I am a fan of JRPGs, so I'm personally quite happy to know that we are designing around that. I have spent an ungodly amount of time playing Persona.
Mm.
Phil Skipis from the Devakins France community asks us, will we craft weaponry or can we just buy it in the shop?
Okay, so the weapon is going to be an NFT. And the tokenomics of these NFTs is going to be discussed further in the white paper. We're still developing that. The NFTs, they are going to be acquired, but we do have like we call the weapon transcendency, that you can make common weapon NFTs in a higher tiers, in a higher rated tier, by burn them and then craft them to the next tier. So I would say it's a mixed thing,
Yeah, you
because you're
have
at
elements of both systems, I would
yeah,
say.
yeah. But crafting from scratch, let's say you get like a blueprint and stuff like that, not for now, but that's like next episodes. It's way far ahead. So
Yeah,
right now you're gonna
that's
get your
pretty
NFT.
far in the future.
Yeah, you're gonna get your NFT, your weapon NFT. It's gonna be like level 1, and then we can improve to and go beyond and go over and beyond
Go
with that.
even further beyond.
Yeah, yeah,
This is called Super Saiyan 2.
yeah.
Also, from Phil Skipis, will burning for level cap, right? So for those of you who are unfamiliar, who haven't read the NFT white paper, to level up your Devakin to increase the actual level cap, it requires the burning of other Devakin. So Philskipis asks, will the burning for level cap have certain requirements beyond the number of Devakin that you actually need to burn, such as rarities, personalities, etc.?
Not per se. They just have to be added. We still play around if the burned NFTs attributes or affinity would play with the promotion or not, but we still design that.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't see like if you wanna promote a mythic, you would have to burn a mythic. I don't. That would be
that would
cruel.
be insane.
Yeah,
If we needed that, also to the 7 Eldritch owners, yeah, you need to burn an Eldritch to level up your Eldritch. That would
yeah,
be nightmarish.
yeah.
That would be the biggest gong show of a combat leveling system that I think I would have ever seen. We have a really good question from Thebictus, also of Vodianoi Guild, where he asks, will Ancestry be useful in Phase 2? Say there's synergies if we use the same Ancestry for a team.
Yes, they will be used. And as Liz mentioned, Persona, if anyone is familiar with Persona, the ancestry, it's one entry of your lookup table for resistance and weakness. So as shared, I believe 2 weeks ago, the chill element, it's a combat element, and each ancestry has a resistance or weakness to each element in the game, and each one is a different one. So it means that let's say Okran, with the head's red skin tone in your game, it has a weakness to the chill element. So if any player with like a chill weapon attacks the Okran, they would do more damage because of the ancestry. So the ancestry and the elements, they are like a lookup entries to a lookup table for resistance and the weakness. And but regarding synergy, I think that's more like to skills and effects than the, let's say,
The team composition
yeah,
itself.
the team composition. Yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, the ancestries do have play in terms of what their resistances are,
yeah. On
right?
that
So you,
note,
oh, sorry,
any
go ahead.
yeah, any enemy in the game on PVE that are not Devakins are monsters, they have an ancestor as well. So you can see on Combat UI which ancestor each enemy is. So you know which weapon element to bring to that battle.
Yeah, so you get to have like a quick look up even when you're doing PvE content of, oh,
Yeah,
wait a second, if I attack this monster with
yeah,
this kind of ability, I'm going to do more damage.
yeah.
Um we have a question from Andy007. I think he's competing with Bond. Are there prerequisites such as stats or player level to wear equipment?
Not so far, but I wouldn't say it's a no. Right now, we are kind of laying down the weapon and skills design, and the equipment is going to be the next one. And the three categories we have for combat. So right now, we don't have like a minimal equipment or stats to wear
Yeah,
a
there's no
piece of equipment.
prerequisites as
Yeah,
of this moment,
yeah,
but it's certainly something to be considered because that's a huge foundation of a lot of games, but also JRPGs tend to go against that grain more commonly than not. So it's
yeah.
trying to figure out what that middle line is or which direction we want to move in terms of equipment design. PHSK asks, will you drop a teaser for PvP, and are we still following the white paper roadmap for the Phase 2 release?
Yes, a teaser. We have nothing planned yet. We do have an internal alpha due to end of May. I don't know if that's going to be enough quality to show off or to tease players,
Yeah.
but we'll see. We'll see. Regarding the roadmap, as I mentioned on one of the first questions, I believe for September, August, September, we're going to have like an open betas, not like real battle, but players are going to be able to test out combat. And I think like by November, we can have the full launch on phase 2 in the
Yeah.
actual game.
So we just got a question in chat that I think serves us well to answer right now. We were
Mhm.
going to answer it later, but we can answer it right now. Um, Artana asks us, what are the advantages of having mutated genes, or just genes in general? Um, Genes are wholly cosmetic.
Not so
Not
fast.
anymore, but
Yeah.
Sergio's laying some bombs on me right now that I haven't been updated on.
No, yeah. So far, they are just cosmetic or for Void Adventures. But weapons, they might have what you're calling gene sync or gene unsync. And what does that mean? That when you have like a weapon with recessive gene sync, it means that we get bonus damage for each recessive gene the Devakin that is equipping that weapon does when they do damage. And when we have an unsync, it means that we get a bonus for not having this gene.
Okay.
So a weapon may have this gene sync and unsync, and that's the way they play that. And moreover, we might have skills that unlock extra or increase the potential of the skill based on your gene. As I said, the skill system is pretty flexible. So let's say you have like a base damage attack that does 100% damage, but it does extra 5% for each mutated gene you have or each bonded gene you have, something like that. So gene is going to be relevant in combat strategy as well.
Okay. Well, now it's
It's
out
not
there. Now
pure, yeah,
everybody knows.
yeah,
This is not defined yet, but there is the possibility, we're playing with the idea, that
yeah.
genes affect combat. Muzan from Vodianoi. God, Vodianoi is just hitting us with so many questions today. You guys are really excited. Will equipment have rarity levels?
Yes. Since they are going to represent the weapon skills going to be represented by NFTs, they follow the Rarity scales in that we have in Devkins: common, uncommon, rare, mythic, and eldritch. So they do have rarities.
Now you know. Gray Fox from Mythos. The Gray Fox. Isn't that the character from Oblivion? The Thieves Guild leader? Uh, is there going to be a class job system like in Final Fantasy or in other RPGs?
Yeah, no, I don't see we having that. You have your personalities,
Yeah, you can
and then
theme your character around it in
yes,
terms of the weapons that you equip and the skills you use, but there's not a defined class or job
yeah,
system that restricts you into a certain game mode. You can
we do
create
have
the flavor on your
costumes.
own. We do have costumes. So you can go for that theming and for that
Yeah,
idea in terms of how you design each character, but it's not like you make one and then you go, "Okay, I have these stats. I need to pick this job now."
yes,
That's
yes,
not necessarily how it works. It's more freeform.
yeah.
Max Cetera asks, will there be game modes where individual players go against each other with increasingly large teams of Devakins, squadrons, platoons, and so on? Like, not just 4v4, he's talking 10v10, 20v20. We're having a
Yeah,
full-on war? I'm going to say no.
yeah, no. It's more because UI doesn't support that. We do
Yeah,
have plans like for guild versus guild things like wars, but would still be like a war
4v4, but
or
points determining
yeah,
towards a
yeah,
greater. Yeah,
yeah,
you contribute to the guild battle with individual battles.
yeah,
But yeah, putting that many characters on a mobile screen turns into a nightmare really, really quickly. Fitting 4 characters is already hard to do
yeah.
on a phone because of the varying sizes of displays. It would be very fun, Seraphy, but yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
pass on that one. Mistborn from Mythos asks, will there be full set bonuses or tier sets similar to other games? Wherein a full set of items or armor pieces from the same kind of group gives you bonuses, such as a 2-set bonus, a 4-set bonus, stuff like that.
Yes, we do plan that. We so spoiler alert from the the combat white paper. Devkins have 4 piece of equipment slots, and they are specific slots. And since it's Devkins, we are not going for the helm, chest, and braves and stuff like that. Actually, we have undies slot, socks slot.
Undies,
Yes, body piercing
you get to
slot.
get your undies.
Yes, so we can equip undies, socks, body piercing, and the only fourth one that we kind of lack of like a funny name, it's just bracelet right now. So we do have 4
Your
slots for equipment,
janglers.
and a piece of equipment can be a part of a set, and when you put your set, you unlock extra stuff.
So it's Under Armor,
Yes.
is what
You
you're
don't see
saying.
that visually because you have costumes, right? That's why we changed that. You can equip your Andes and put your costume of
Yeah,
like a
Devakins
princess.
is an entirely serious game that should be taken very seriously,
Mm,
and it's super serious, guys.
yeah.
Um,
You're gonna love when you drop that Eldritch Andes.
which is yeah, those Eldritch undies are definitely the pickup. Which
Yeah.
is really fun because as we get more and more into the story, it does actually get more and more serious. The stuff Elaine and I have written for you guys coming up, it does deal with some serious stuff, but at the same time, it's absolutely bonkers. We really do hope you guys will enjoy it when we start moving into the story.
Yeah.
And of course, Teresa Young says, "I want a thong." Um,
For
I
sure.
think that would bump the game's rating up. I don't know if we
Would
can
make
include that necessarily. We want to still stay at like that E10/teen rating.
yeah, yeah.
Knives asks, are there plans to add costumes or other cosmetics? Yes.
Yes.
That's a very definitive yes. Cosmetics are fun as all hell. Cosmetics are awesome. Everybody loves cosmetics. I love cosmetics. Sergio loves cosmetics. You love cosmetics. We all want cosmetics.
I already asked Elaine. I want a Dwight Schrute cosmetics.
You wanted Dwight. You watch The Office way too much.
Yeah. But
Hurts.
yeah, it would be so funny to have like a four Devkins wearing like a 2-piece suit of earth tones.
Yeah. Yeah, they show up with like the big square glasses.
Yeah.
Benito from Vodianoi. Vodianoi again, you guys are all over this. Do you have plans to design traditional JRPG dungeons requiring potions and item foraging?
Uh,
And then also a question that more I have to answer since I'm writing the story. What is Beyond the Void? But Sergio, start off and then I'll answer the next one.
yeah, we don't plan to have an in battle items like potions and stuff like that. It's just your skills. We do plan to have not on the launch, but having dungeons as a PvE mode. But dungeons would be not your story mode, but random generate challenge that would probably have like daily a new one generate to everyone, and you don't know what you're gonna face to keep the PvE fresh and new every day. That would be our dungeons for Devkins. But I don't see we having like potions
For
and
additional dungeons,
yeah,
no. Not
yeah,
in terms of like, here's your little map and you go around.
yeah,
Not quite like that.
yeah.
In terms of Benito asking what is Beyond the Void is the game world in Devikins. Like, that's just the name for the universe. Um, a lot of the design points for the game's universe, and these express ideas I've taken from consolidating individual islands and zones with their own unique theme. So there's nothing beyond all of it, but each zone that you go to in the actual game story and that PvE content, each has its own unique theme, enemies, monsters, and plot points. Um, I'm a hardcore One Piece fan, so you can see a lot of influence there from that. If anybody else is also a fan, a lot of predetermined unique zones. Grars asks, will there be opportunities for outplaying others, or will it purely be a numbers game? Also, are affinities relevant, or will the attributes be the main determining factor for combat effectiveness? We answered that second one already.
Yeah.
We'll
So
answer the first one.
and just being like clear about affinities and attributes, they are linked, they are related. For anyone that is familiar with Pokemon system, they have the individual values, the IVs, that's the main factor when they are leveling up to the attribute increase. And that's the same for Devkins, but in Devkins we don't hide that, we show. So affinities affects how fast the attribute increases during a level up. So higher the affinity, higher the attributes going to increase over time. But in combat, what is used to get your stats are attributes, not your affinities. For opportunities to outplay others or being just a number of games, we are bringing like too many factors in the game. Like we have skills aside, separate from weapons and weapons separate from equipment to not make just buy the best items and that's it. No strategy, just spam your.
Yeah, we don't
your
want it to be
basic stuff.
purely a
Yeah,
numbers game. There's still
we
room
want to
for
be a
outplay.
strategy game. Yes. So I would love to have that players can outplay other players by strategy, not by just spending more.
Yeah, yeah. Evil Slime from NTACS asks, do you have plans to include guild bosses or world bosses, some sort of large contributing PvE fight, or an endless tower style of gameplay, which is also fun?
Yeah, we do have plans, but I would say don't expect to be released with
Immediately.
phase 2. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Combat as a whole is a really, really, really intensive part of actual technical game design. That tends to be one of the more difficult facets of designing and building a game. So we want to focus on making sure that the combat itself is fluid and fun. First and foremost, that was a hell of a lot of alliteration. I'm kind of proud of myself there. But other systems like that can possibly come afterwards. But again, that's in the future. That's something that we need to think about.
Yes.
Horizon asks, how are weapons designed? Do they have dedicated skills, elemental status effects, and damage types? Yes, we answered that earlier.
Yes.
Weapons are
Yeah,
tied
but
to your
I think we can
skills.
go further with that. So weapons, as I mentioned, they are kind of catalysts for your skills. So the element of a skill damage, the, the the skill damage element is given by your weapon. So the weapons holds the element, not the skill. The skill they only have the what happens during an attack. So your weapon has an element, and so it means the damage type, and the skills have what happens. Oh, you're gonna apply 100% damage. You're gonna apply the status effects X, or you're gonna heal, or you're gonna revive, or you're gonna whatever. So your skills is more like your strategy. Your weapons more like your catalyst to perform the skill.
Jet wants fatalities. Again, I think that would push our rating up really, really high. I don't think we can do fatalities, guys. Babalities, maybe. Didn't they
Yeah.
include that in one Mortal Kombat game where you like pick up Scorpion and rock him to sleep? Right? It's okay, you little murderer. Just take a good nap. Um, yeah, fatalities I would say are a no go. Um, Camacho asks, will we have a market or some sort of trading system when it comes to equipment? We did answer that, and yes, we will and have it in one form or another. And how often will balance patches occur? Depends,
Yeah.
right? Balance patches are dependent on, first off, the state of the balance, right? You might need
Yeah.
more, you might need less, depending on how things are going, right? Um,
But yeah, I would say do expect that because we want to
yeah,
like a fun game, not a broken game, and sometimes balance
we do
it's
want to
needed.
have continuous balance patches, not
Yeah.
just for the sake of making sure that the combat is balanced, of course, which is always the main point, right? But we do want to make sure that we also mix things up occasionally. We don't want to get rooted in certain metas, right?
Yeah.
Because that can also lead to the degradation of a game, is having the same meta, it stagnates, it becomes less and less fun, especially in PvP. PvE not so much, but PvP, if things are rooted in one mode, you end up having issues of stagnancy. 99 from Mythos asks, will there be restrictions in combat like there are in Void Adventures?
Not for PvE story mode, but I see like a PvE mode that it's kind of match your, build your best strategy with these restrictions and face this pre like stage to kind of increase the strategy of your game. But
Yeah.
yeah, PvP and PvE probably are not going to have any restriction like that.
Uh,
Aside the Pauper League, that would be just common.
yeah, 99's also in chat right now, and he's asking, can the Dummykin be used in PvE and PvP? Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
you can use the Dummykin like you would any other NFT. It's just you can't earn from it or trade it in the same way that you can a standard NFT.
Or like perform the blockchain mechanics,
Yeah,
like
the blockchain
recreation.
mechanics
Yeah.
themselves are
But yeah, but we
taken
are
away from the
not.
Dummykin.
Yeah, we're not preventing you to use the Devakin in battle.
Yeah, yeah, you can still fight with them.
Yeah, even more because if you have only one Devakin, you cannot create a competitive PvP
Yeah,
team
you
with
can't
one.
just walk in with only one
Yes.
Devakin. Teamwork makes the dream work. We have two more questions from the Devikins France community. Will companions or pets be a part of the game in the PvE and PvP systems? And if so, what will be their usage? Yes, they're going to be a part of it. We answered that earlier. Pets are part of combat.
Yes.
Sergio, would you like to explain that more, or is that something that we'd like to keep on the down low for now?
No, no, I think we are pretty happy with the current design of pets. So pets, they are not like a actual character in the battle, so we cannot target a pet. They're more like a support wildcard skill. So your pet has one skill only, and that's more aimed to be like a supportive one
Yeah,
that you
they're
can
in the
trigger
background and
a few
buffing.
times in combat.
Yeah, they're oriented around buff and accentuating a team comp, I
Mhm.
would say. Um, I would make an analogy, but I don't think you've played the game that I'm talking about, so I won't make the analogy. uh, Alex Bjornson asks us, "Give us auto chess." That's a
uh,
whole other thing. That's that's
yes.
that's um that's a whole nother game, my friend,
Yeah.
and that is a very complicated game. Auto chess is actually the math behind auto chess is crazy. Like the amount of calculations going on every time you're doing character combinations and swaps is actually obscene.
Yeah.
They're systems designers. Whoever's a system designer on auto chess, on like Hearthstone Battlegrounds and games like that, my hat is off to you. Whoever does that work, because you are all those guys are magicians.
Okay, yeah. It's not auto chess, but we do plan to have like an auto button. So if you don't want to pick your skills, you just put auto and
Totally
the
the
AI is
same
gonna
thing.
play the game for you.
Totally the same thing. Auto chess, auto battlers, same genre. Sergio's confirmed it. You just angered two communities.
No, I'm not saying it's the same thing because auto chess, yeah, we have like waves and the promotion strategy. The strategy happens on the mid, let's say the mid waves, the mid battles there. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, Devikins is a RPG. It's not
Yes,
gonna be
it's an
auto chess.
RPG first and foremost. Rainiers asks, is there a lot of RNG involved in combat?
I wouldn't say a lot, but you do have your chance, your critical chance, your evasion chance, your
Yeah. You have
So
standard RNG systems that you would
yes,
find in
yeah,
any other JRPG, right?
yes,
I know there's some trepidation some people have surrounding crit systems because of how dominant it is in other games that I shall not mention. In terms of those games having extreme crit metas, crit is the only way to play. We very much do not have intentions of turning critical strike
yeah,
chance into the one and only way to play Devikins.
yeah.
Um, Rain God asks, will you make a hardcore mode that rewards much, much more, but has a chance to burn a Devakin when you lose? That's a no.
But
I
if
would
you
say
if you want, yeah, we can create just for you
just for you, just for your
like
one
a
account, we will let
Diablo
you
hardcore
burn
mode.
your account. We'll let you burn your Devakin after a loss.
Yeah, no, yeah, we
You
don't
lost
plan to
that
have this.
match, you have to burn your Devakin now, Rain God.
Yeah, no, no, we
Enrico
don't plan
Cruz
that.
asks, is there a pet goat in the game? We got art for it.
Spoiler
We
alert:
have art.
all pets that you see on the art, they are actual pets in the game for
Yeah,
combat.
any pets that you've seen posted on our social media, they're in it. And we will be having more to come.
Actually, just the cat that was released yesterday with the MAD piece, that's the only one that we don't have as a
Like the
pet right
Cheshire
now.
cat with like the big
Yeah,
smile. Yeah,
yeah,
we should have that though. I think that's cool. Cheshire cat, Alice in Wonderland. It's very Devikins.
yeah. But
Um,
all others are pets in the game.
yeah. And then we have one last question that came from our AMA channels, which is, can we expect guild versus guild combat? That's a yes. I believe so.
No, yes, but as I said, it would be like one team versus another team competing in like in a guild contest thing, like a war and stuff like that. Not
Yeah.
for 16 Devkins one side being like four guild players against 16 players on the other side. Because we are like 2D game, right? So we cannot move that around. So we don't plan to have more than 4 versus 4 in PvP. For
Yeah.
PvE, we are aiming to have up to 6 enemies on the screen.
But PvP is completely
Yeah,
different,
yeah.
certainly. Um,
So
just going back, I've had a user called John Benedict asked a few times, are you planning to put gameplay in Void Adventures? Not right now. That was actually something we answered at the start of the AMA. It's a nice thought, and it's something that we could possibly include, but it's certainly not on our list right now. We are far more focused on Phase 2 in combat.
yeah.
And then Sam Zone asks, will there be a new token to reward PvP winners? Um, DVK.
Yes. So when you say token and you say about like as a cryptocurrency, we don't plan to release any other utility token. DVK
Yeah.
is the utility token. We might have like some soft currency like we have formation seats, more for the purpose of ranking over than spending this PvP currency. So we
Yeah.
might see some PvP currency for ranking purpose, not like for like spending or giving utility for that.
Yeah, we don't have any intentions to add another token, like Sergio said. It just quickly clouds things and makes it more and more,
Yeah.
far more complicated. Um, I am not going to try pronouncing that name, but we have a user asking, will there be a personalized or basically player housing in the game? Will we have the opportunity to have a customized player space? It's an interesting thought. I don't think it's something that we've actually given any extensive consideration,
Yes,
especially since
yes.
that's far more an MMO mechanic. And this
Yeah.
isn't an MMO. I mean, like, we do take elements from MMOs in terms of having a guild and having these interactive player mechanics, but this isn't an MMORPG. Player housing, while it's a nice idea, I think that's a stretch goal of a stretch goal of a stretch goal. That's
Yeah. But
far, far
you never,
beyond our
yeah,
current
we never
scope.
know after combat. As I said, like phase 2 is not the final for Devikins. We're gonna continue
Yeah.
bringing new things to the game, so
Yeah.
that could be an idea.
And then we also have somebody asking, do we have any plans for a scholarship system? Not right now, no.
You, you,
Sort of.
uh, it's because it's a really challenging thing how the system right now, earning system right now works, right? Because you don't earn with your Devakin, you earn by doing chores.
Yeah.
When you talk about like a scholarship system that you can lend an NFT to another player and that player pays you whatever they earn with that NFT, it's not so simple for Devikins because you don't actually earn with that NFT, you earn by playing the game itself. So
Yeah.
it's really hard to balance how fair would be. Okay, if you land a NFT, so the player borrowing your NFT, they have to pay, let's say, making seeds or DVK for you based on what metric, you know?
Yeah, our game, at least in terms of the basic structure of how we've designed Devakins,
Yeah.
is pretty different from other more traditional blockchain games that enable a scholarship system. I mean, like Axie is like the first one that comes to mind,
Hmm.
right? Um, we've just structured our game differently enough that a scholarship system, you'd have to take so many more different considerations into account in terms of how to actually implement it. So at this moment, no, we haven't really given it an extensive amount of consideration. It would just be very abstract to fit in as it
And
exists
I'd
right
say
now.
you're up to suggestion on your Discord. If you have like an idea, you can propose that. And I'm not saying we're going to adopt, but that can help us like clear this scholarship and question.
Yeah. Also, we've got 8 minutes left, guys, at least until we've got to go off and continue with our workday. So if you have any questions, throw them in the comments right now in YouTube chat, and we'll try to answer them if we can. One of them, another question from Mjo Kun, is will PvP become one of the requirements in the daily chores?
I,
It's a nice
I
thought.
strongly
I could
believe
see
so.
it happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
But
doesn't make sense for us to not to,
yeah,
right?
yes. PvP and PvE, I see that becoming like a daily chart thing. I, but I wouldn't balance like other games that it's kind of prohibitive to reach that out if you don't have like a competitive team. Probably wouldn't ask you to win 10 PvP
Just
battles when
compete in battles, possibly, as opposed
maybe
to win
one.
those battles.
Yeah.
Have one
And,
where it's like just your daily win
yeah, and we
reward.
do have
Yeah.
matchmaking, right? So probably we would have a chance to win one battle if you try your, let's say you have like 10
Yeah.
times a day to battle that. But yeah, you probably you need battle for completing your day chores on phase two.
Yeah, somebody asks, is there any chance we can get the NFT marketplace accessible within the game itself? That requires some back-end shenanigans.
Yes, because the marketplace right now it's hosted by Clever. It's a different team. It's
Yeah,
a partner team, but it's a different team.
we
So
make the game, they made the marketplace, we
yeah.
collaborate and we work together, but we are not the same team. We are
But
two
I
separate
would say
entities.
but I would say I would love if we have a chance to actually get the game. I think that would streamline so much.
Zach Norris also asks, will you lose your Devakins if you lose in PvP? No. You won't lose your NFTs. We're
Right,
not taking your NFTs away from you. We're
no,
not burning them randomly. That's not going to happen. Don't worry, guys.
not right now, but we could always if people think like this thrill of losing
I
their
need to
NFT, we can
lose
create a
everything
stream
I
of
worked for. I want to lose $10 if I lose my match.
if people like this thrill, like the more risk, more reward. In the future, you could discuss like this PvP stream that okay, it's like a death match, and if you lose, you burn your NFT.
Yeah.
But no,
Uh
not right now.
In-game trading of training items. We've already implemented that in a different way with guild requests. If you haven't checked
Yes.
out guild requests yet, Charles, check them out.
Yeah.
Um, Chad is moving fast now that I told him that we're leaving soon. Uh, I do not speak Filipino, guys. So unfortunately, if you write in Filipino or Tagalog or any of those, I cannot Google Translate that fast enough. since we are talking matchmaking, what if there is no more available? Almost everybody is done with the fights, and I started at a different time and haven't started any fights. So you mean
No,
like people are just offline?
no. Usually, what the games does, they have like bot teams, right? Teams that it's hosted just to battle with you guys because the way we're designing the PvP system right now, it's not like a zero sum game. So we are
Yeah,
not actually losing. The other is not kind of losing things. So we can host some bot teams in different levels. So you always have like a matchmaking working.
yeah,
Because remember, phase two, it's a synchronous combat. So it's not, which means that you're going to create your defense team, and whenever a player is going to fight your team, they are going to face your defense team using an AI. Your team is going to be controlled by AI.
yeah.
It's not going to be a real time PvP yet.
Is Devikins planning to move to the clever chain eventually? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That was the
Uh, the-
quietest
yeah.
yes I've ever spoken in my life. That was reverent. But also, are we going to put rankings in PvP, for example, Plastic League to gold? Um, yeah, I can easily
Yeah.
see us putting in a
This,
ranking system.
yeah.
I mean, like, what is PvP without flexing?
Yeah.
Right, Sergio, give us a flex. Pop those muscles. What is PvP without being able to stick your tongue out and be like, "Yeah, I got platinum."
Yeah.
Uh, Again, we have a lot of people asking if they're going to be penalized in some way, shape, or form for losing a match. No, you just don't win anything if you lose. You just don't get
Yeah.
the same reward.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. We don't have any intentions of punishing users in terms of our PvE and
Yeah.
PvP design.
Yeah, because like we have, like we mentioned on the first white paper, we have this idea of a weekly league. It's like we have right now for Mating Seed. So it means that you're gonna earn your PvP fame every week. It's gonna reset. So probably you're not gonna have like this ongoing PvP rate that you can lose, earn and lose. But for the weekly PvP leagues, you're gonna accumulate points over time, over a week. That when you earn a combat, by the end you have your by the end of the weekly rank, you have your ranking and your position and your rewards based on that.
Yeah.
So you're losing a battle, you're not losing anything, but you're not advancing on your ranking either.
We also have a question. How long does typical combat gameplay last? I think we're trying to still define what our
Yeah.
standard length of combat is. I mean, like in a shooter game, you have your time to kill, right? We're still trying to find that metric for Devikins
Yeah,
combat.
as I mentioned, we have our internal alpha aim to the end of May. I think after that, we're gonna have like a more an idea how long combat it's gonna take. So
Is it possible to have an update that will immediately turn a baby Devakin into an adult once all stats have been maxed? Like
um,
we announced already that we had plans to implement a burn mechanic that allows you to reset a Devakin at the cost of others.
but I think they want to do opposite. As soon as they max all attributes, kind of there's no
You
reason
just
to keep.
instantly turn it to an adult.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah,
it's something we could think about, but that's
yeah,
not something that we're focused on at this exact moment.
yeah.
We have time for one more question. Let's see. Do Devakins gain EXP/training stats by? I'm so sorry. Via combat. Do
No,
Devakin gain EXP or training stats via combat?
yeah, we are kind of moved to more like consume items that you drop in combat
Yeah,
right now. So
you get
I saw that
rewards
in
and you
other
use
games.
those to
Yeah,
level up.
yeah. Like, is anyone is like familiar with like Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, which is a mobile game? You don't earn experience by battling, but you use items that you earn uh, to increase your Devkin experience. That's the way we are modeling the level up system.
Okay, I'll do one last question because I think this is a fun question. I think this is one that Sergio could have a lot of fun with. What's
Mm.
your biggest goal for Devakins? What's your biggest goal with the game?
Uh, to have like a worldwide championship like Pokemon does of Devakin
You heard it
in
here first,
PvP.
folks. We want to go full Devikins League.
Yeah,
You want to see
like
that battle taking place on the big stage.
million of dollars as prize, paying everyone's flight ticket to go to somewhere, I don't know, to
It'll
play.
be like going to the international.
Yeah,
And Sergio's like, I don't know what that is. You can tell Sergio's not a Dota fan.
no.
Yeah, he
As I
just kind
mentioned
of
that I don't
shakes
play
his
that
head
games that you
slowly.
cannot finish because I have like an addiction problem. So that's why I don't play MMO or whatever. I have to have,
Meanwhile, that's literally all I play is MMOs
yeah,
and MOBAs.
I need games that I can finish because if not, I have no life.
Hey, we all work game development here. None of us do.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so thank you everybody for coming. We always have a great time doing this. It's always so much fun to be able to talk to you and everybody in the community. It's excellent. I have a ton of fun. Sergio has a lot of fun. Um, it's great. Thank you for dropping by. Thank you for asking your questions. And we hope to be doing something similar soon. Anytime we start giving you guys big updates in regards to the game, we'll certainly be doing AMAs. Uh, look forward to more. That's really all
Yep.
I have to say. Look forward to more. We hope to have some more really awesome news for you soon regarding other additions and features to the game and things that we have cooked up. But in the meanwhile, take everything from today's AMA and get excited. And we will see you next time. And of course, I'll still be in Discord, so you guys can bother me there. I'll be on Telegram, so you can bother me there if you have questions, if you have anything like that. I try to answer as many as I possibly can and make sure that you guys know what's going on. But in the meantime, we'll be signing off. Thank you for coming. Sergio, would you like to say goodbye?
Thank you, everyone. Until
Okay.
next time.
Thank you so much, guys. Yep. We'll see you next time. Bye.